Let's take a deep dive into the life of someone who made history while also managing to avoid the most tragic of all fates, being roasted by her own legacy. Ellen Ochoa. Ladies and gentlemen, a woman who is so accomplished, she probably gets annoyed when people can't pronounce her name correctly. You think you're ready for this? All right, let's get started. Born on May 10th, 1958, in the smoggy and run-down Los Angeles, California, Ellen Ochoa came into this world and immediately began to prove that gravity had no business trying to hold her down. From day one, it was clear, this girl wasn't just going to sit around and wait for life to happen. She was going to go out and make life happen, preferably from 200,000 miles away. Ochoa was the daughter of Mexican-American parents, and growing up in California, she quickly became a curious child, interested in math, science, and technology. Three things that were, at the time, not exactly the top items on most girls' to-do lists. But Ellen wasn't about to let society tell her what was and wasn't appropriate. She was like, you know what? I'm going to break barriers and become a super accomplished scientist while I'm at it. Ochoa's early education was no joke. She went to San Diego State University, a place that sounds like it's perpetually hosting pool parties, but actually produces some of the most intelligent minds out there, and graduated with a degree in physics in 1980. I mean, I went to SDSU, and let me tell you, the engineering department is a bit of a mess. You're probably better off reading books on your own than to rely on learning anything in class, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, she was that kid who could explain quantum mechanics while also still somehow being a social person because, well, she's Ellen Ochoa, and she's that much of a legend. She didn't stop there, though. No. Ellen went on to earn her master's and PhD in electrical engineering from the Stanford University. You know, that little school that occasionally produces a few other notable people. After completing her doctorate in 1985, she wasn't sitting around hoping for success to fall in her lap. She was too busy working on developing high-performance optical systems, probably while sipping some artisanal coffee you've never heard of. Ellen Ochoa wasn't one to follow a simple career path, so what did she do? She joined NASA. That's right, she joined NASA and didn't just hang out in the break room talking about space, although I'm sure she did that too. Instead, she was at the NASA Ames Research Center as an engineer, where she developed systems that used optics to help in the identification of foreign objects in space. You know, the stuff that keeps your satellite from getting smacked by random debris. Oh, and she did this all while becoming the first Hispanic woman in the world to go to space. Yeah, no biggie, just a regular Taco Tuesday for Ellen. The funny thing about going to space is, well, there's so much time to think. I mean, she probably looked at Earth from the shuttle window and was like, I've left earthly problems behind. Like trying to figure out why people still use Internet Explorer. Or, how is it that I can travel to the edge of space but my Wi-Fi still cuts out in the bathroom? Classic Ellen. Always thinking ahead, always having the answers. Fast forward to 1993. Ochoa became an astronaut. But here's the catch. When she took her first flight on the Space Shuttle Endeavour, it wasn't just a joyride. No, this woman wasn't up there just for fun or to salsa dance up there. She was performing vital research on how the human body reacts to zero gravity. You know, some of us might take a space ride to snap a cool selfie. But Ellen Ochoa? Nah. She's up there gathering scientific data to improve the health of future space travelers. It's almost like she knew one day we'd be sending more people to Mars, probably people like you and me who would definitely need some tips about what not to do in space. Thanks, Ellen. Now, most people after doing one major thing like becoming an astronaut would be like, yeah, I'm good, I can kick back and enjoy my time on Earth. But Ellen Ochoa was like, nah, I've got more to do. Let's be the first Hispanic woman to direct a major division of NASA. In 2013, she made history once again by becoming the director of NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Think about that for a second. She was the final boss of a space center, which is like being the CEO of the entire galaxy. Oh, did you need a launch pad? Yeah, I got you covered. Can you imagine the office parties? Hey, Ellen, what's on the agenda today? Well, I was thinking of launching a new program for space tourism. Who's bringing the ceviche? And guess what? She didn't just sit at her desk scrolling through TikTok. She helped shape the future of space exploration, too. Ochoa's leadership included pushing NASA's initiatives to make space travel more diverse and inclusive, promoting future missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. As if that wasn't enough, she oversaw programs in flight crew operations, spacecraft development, and the technical aspects of human spaceflight. This woman was running the NASA show. Let's talk about awards, because why not? Ellen Ochoa has received more honors than most people get in their lifetime, including NASA's Outstanding Leadership Medal, because, she basically redefined what it means to lead a group of people into space. The Presidential Distinguished Rank Award, and yes, I bet she was just as humble as she was excited about it. The National Women's Hall of Fame, because, well, she's a living legend who broke barriers. The Sylvia Acevedo Lifetime Achievement Award, because, of course, this woman's lifetime of achievements needed its own special trophy. On top of all that, she's been awarded honorary doctorates, countless STEM-related awards, and she even has a street named after her. A street, folks, in space. Okay, not literally, but let's pretend for a minute that it should be. Now let's wrap this up with a final thought. Ellen Ochoa is the kind of person who could have been a tech mogul, a CEO, or a best-selling author. Just casually adding author of the best-selling space memoir to her resume. But instead, she chose to become a role model for a generation of women in STEM. It's almost like she got tired of hearing people say, "Oh, women can't do that," and decided, watch me. If we're being honest, she's probably the only person who could roast herself harder than we ever could. So here's to Ellen Ochoa, the woman who literally took us all to space and probably would still roast us if we dared to try to reach her level. She's a physicist. She's an engineer. She's an astronaut. She's a NASA administrator. She's a trailblazer. And she's got a resume that can't be topped by most of us who just made it to 10th grade science class. Ellen Ochoa, proving that the sky's the limit is for amateurs. She's already hitched a ride past that limit. Thank you all for tuning into this week's Roast Tribute. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the next video on past and present individuals that have shaped the world around us.